Accused of shooting and killing 64-year-old Harold Witt Harper.
West News' Haley Crumble-Home is live at the police department tonight. And Haley, you spoke with the police chief. What do you have to say?
So he said this all appears to be random. This is all rapidly unfolding. Like he said, in the last hour and a half, we saw Isaac Ezekiel Toye, that suspect, be let out of this door in handcuffs and put into a police cruiser. The chief said that they received multiple calls, 2 calls within minutes of each other to the same neighborhood, both they believe involving Toye. The first was for a suspicious person that the caller believed had a gun, and the second call was for this shooting. And the chief said there was potential for more people to be harmed today. That initial caller, as well as the victim, Harold Witt Harper's wife, who had been in the yard with him just moments before he was shot. Do you have anything to say, Mr. Toye? Isaac Ezekiel Toye was walked out of the Ocala Police Department in handcuffs Wednesday night. He didn't say a word about what he's accused of, killing 64-year-old Harold Witt Harper, who was in his own front yard.
It appears that he was doing nothing more than gardening in his front yard and was senselessly killed. This is, I've been here for almost 32 years, and I've never seen anything like this.
Ocala Police Chief Mike Balkin said a call came in about a suspicious person around 3:34 Wednesday afternoon on Southeast 3rd Street who tried to wave down a person pulling out of their driveway.
As he was pulling away, he observed the subject doing something suspicious, appearing to manipulate a handgun and possibly chamber around in that handgun. Officers were immediately dispatched to the area.
As officers were arriving in the neighborhood within 3 minutes of that first call, the police chief said,
we received a second call in reference to a shooting. That second call originated just down the road. This is about a block away to the east. It involved our victim who had been shot.
Because officers were so close by, he said they were able to find Toye walking away from the shooting scene. He matched the description of the man from the first call to police, and the chief said he had a gun on him.
At the end of the day, if you see something, say something. You think they're suspicious and you scared of what they're going to do, hey, better to call the cops. And look what happened. The suspicious person who they were worried about ended up killing someone. Now, will it always end up like that? No. But it's better to be safe than sorry. At least that's my opinion. But let's keep going.
The chief said they haven't identified any motive. They don't believe Toye and Harper knew each other or even had any interaction in the yard before Harper was shot.
This horrific incident appears to be a random act of violence. There is no indication, I'll repeat that, there's no indication that this was a targeted attack.
Toye now faces 2 counts of aggravated assault and 1 count of second-degree homicide.
What is with all this random murder? Is it just something in the air that's just making people want to kill a random person?
Now, the chief said his officers have had very little interaction with Toye in the past. He does not have a criminal history here in Ocala, but does appear to have some in Tampa. The chief stressed tonight that this is the very early stages of this investigation. They're still working to figure out what could be a motive here, and he said his heart goes out to the Harper family tonight. Covering Marion County live in Ocala, Haley Crumble-Home, West 2 News.
Absolutely crazy situation. Let's go over into this next video where we actually get to see him appear in court.
In Marion County, the man accused of shooting and killing another in his own front yard was in court today for the first time. Detectives say Isaac Toye randomly shot Harold Witt Harper.
And now West 2's Luana Munoz is hearing from the neighbor who called 911.
Gentle and kind, and just a very sweet person. His passion was gardening.
That's how neighbors describe 64-year-old Harold Witt Harper. Ocala police say Harper was gardening in his front lawn in this affluent neighborhood near Southeast 3rd Street and 11th Avenue when this man, 29-year-old Isaac Toye, randomly walked up to Harper, shot, and killed him. Well, a woman says she thought she heard a vehicle backfiring. That's when she came outside and realized that her neighbor had been shot. And that's when she called 911. It's got to be pretty traumatizing.
It was at the moment, and I mean for hours later, and with all the reaction and everything, yes. But like I said, we feel safe because of the response from our police. It was wonderful.
Police were already in the area after getting a call from neighbors a block away who had reported seeing a man carrying a handgun and acting suspicious. That allowed them to respond to the shooting within minutes and catch Toye walking away from the scene. He fit the description of the person neighbors complained about and was carrying a gun.
My name is Isaac Toye.
Toye appeared before a judge Thursday morning. He's facing 2 counts of aggravated assault and 1 count of second-degree homicide. Other residents who live in the neighborhood were shocked, but say in today's society, people need to be aware of their surroundings.
There was this common sentiment that you should, carry a firearm and that you should be prepared in that sense. And I agree with that. As long as someone understands what they're doing with the firearm. If they have no education and it's not being done safely and responsibly, they're just as much a danger to themselves as they are to their would-be attacker.
100%. I feel that everyone should be able to protect themselves. I feel like that if you are able to carry a firearm, carry one, but please get the right training to carry one. Know when to pull it. Know the laws in your state for when you are allowed to pull your firearm, when the appropriate situation is to pull your firearm. And at the end of the day, we got to keep our head on a swivel, especially in these dangerous times. Let's keep going.
Residents were shaken by what happened. They say they feel safe and are focused on the good memories with the neighbor they knew more than a decade.
If he wasn't doing something in his garage, he's planting flowers and reading. He just loved his yard and loved his family.
Covering Marion County in Ocala, Luana.
Absolutely crazy situation, y'all. Crazy situation. A heartless situation. Let's get over into the AI breakdown. So like they said on Wednesday, January 7th, a 64-year-old man was fatally shot in an act of random, senseless violence. The victim, Harold Harper, was shot and killed while weeding and gardening in his front yard at the Ocala Historical District. So the shooting occurred shortly after 3:30 p.m. while Harold's wife was also working in the yard. She found him after hearing a gunshot from inside the house during a break. So the police were already in the area, like we know, because of a 911 call that reported a suspicious person. The middle school was briefly placed on a lockdown while police secured the area. So we got the suspect, Isaac Ezekiel, 29 years old, and was apprehended blocks away shortly after the shooting. At the time of the arrest, he was possessing a loaded 9mm pistol. He faces second-degree murder, aggravated assault. He appeared before a judge today. The motives, they say there's no motives. They had no prior connection. It's just a random killing. The shooting followed another recent fatal incident on Christmas Day of the 21-year-old. The 19-year-old suspect denied bond. It's a tragic situation. Let's see if we got any criminal history on him or if they mention anything about his criminal history. Ezekiel has no local criminal record in Ohio, according to the statement made by the police and the state attorney office during his January 2026 arrest. However, authorities have noted the following regarding his background. So he got prior history elsewhere. So while he lacks a record where the shooting was, he indicates that he is believed to have a criminal history in Tampa, Florida. The officers reported having only minimal contact with him. So we don't know what his charges in Florida were. We're probably not going to know that. Do we know what happened in Tampa? While the police, he does have a record in Tampa. Public records following his 2026 arrest showed the following about his Tampa history. Specific charges: he has at least one prior charge for battery on a law enforcement officer in Tampa. Okay, so battery on a law enforcement officer in Tampa. Overall, it's a crazy situation. what can drive someone to kill someone at random? Was it money? Did he just have a bad day? But at the end of the day, does the motive matter? I would like, just as a person who likes hearing about crime stories, I would like to know about the motive. But at the end of the day, the suspect is caught and he needs to spend the rest of his life in jail. The rest. I don't want to hear any of that slap on the wrist. Especially I don't want to, because he did look a little, so I don't want to hear any of that mental health. Even if he does have mental health problems, he needs to be in the mental health facility for the rest of his life. At least that's my understanding on it, and that's how I feel. That's how I feel about it. But like always, I say, let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Let me know how you feel about it. It's a tragic case. A husband lost his life. Probably a husband and father lost his life gardening, doing something just outside just outside your own house, minding his business. It's a crazy situation, y'all. Let me know your thoughts and let me know if you disagree with anything I said.